In 1990, Christopher impresses all teachers in school by completing a test that took Einstein 3 days in just a few hours. His older sister Michelle points out that he could go to college early, but he isn't sure he wants to go. On their way out, a soldier notices that Christopher has a cartoon robot on his t-shirt and scolds him, reminding him that war is coming. The robot on that shirt is Cosmo, the protagonist of a popular cartoon show. However, because anti-robot sentiment is growing around the nation, the show gets cancelled. Robots were first developed by Walt Disney for their parks in 1955, and later they were put into mass production, so they became the main source of workforce around the world. For years they worked without issues, but eventually they get tired of working and rebel. The robots demand rights of their own, so they organize protests all over the world led by Mr. Peanut. Debates go nowhere, and soon a war between humans and robots begins. Any person keeping a robot at home is considered a traitor. War isn't going well for humans, and Sergeant John appears on TV to explain why. Robots don't eat, don't sleep, and don't blink. For 2 years humanity keeps on fighting only to lose over and over again. One day the founder of Center Technologies, Ethan, invents the Neurocaster, a device that links the human mind to drone bodies. Now humans can fight the robot army on equal grounds, and in just 2 weeks, the war is over. Humans win, and Colonel Bradbury is named the main hero. Peanut meets with Clinton and Ethan to sign the Treaty of Surrender while over 6,000 robots are imprisoned in the exclusion zone in the desert. Sometime later Ethan releases a smaller version of the Neurocaster for people to have at home. This model allows them to split their minds so they can work and have fun at the same time. In 1994 Michelle is at home trying to remove the monitor on her ankle, but she has to hide her tools when Ted bursts in using a Neurocaster. He scolds her for her behavior and reminds her that even if she escaped from all her previous foster homes, he won't let her do so here. Michelle replies by pointing at the pile of stuff he's hoarding, pointing out that taking things from the exclusion zone is illegal. Afterward she goes to class, and the teacher is also there in her Neurocaster suit. All the students are forced to put on their helmets, and when Michelle refuses to do so she's sent to the principal's office. The lady notices on Michelle's profile that she lost her entire family and blames it on the war, so Michelle has to clarify it actually was a car accident. Then the principal explains that neurotherapy can help her forget for a few hours, causing Michelle to revisit a memory of playing on the beach with her brother. That day he had a panic attack and she comforted him through it. However, Michelle still refuses to put on the helmet and goes home. That night Michelle dreams of the car accident that killed her family. She had woken up in the hospital and a doctor was watching her, but she couldn't remember their face. In the present, Michelle is startled awake by a noise outside. She looks out the window and notices a shadow moving in her yard, so she grabs a flashlight and goes out. Suddenly she sees an eye reflected on a bottle before the table falls, scaring her into running back inside. She tries to warn Ted about the intruder, but he's lost in the Neurocaster world. When the intruder breaks in, Michelle runs to hide under her bed. However, the intruder is a robot and easily lifts the bed to look at her with Cosmo's face. Michelle runs to the corner of the room and tries to communicate with Cosmo, who uses some gestures to indicate he's looking for her. This robot can't speak and opens his head so Michelle can fix his voice circuit, but unfortunately he only has a few pre-recorded phrases. Then Cosmo grabs a picture of the siblings and keeps pointing between himself and Christopher, implying they're the same person. Michelle doesn't believe him and forcefully pulls the picture from his arms, causing him to crash against the shelves. The noise wakes Ted up and he comes to the room to find Cosmo. He blames Michelle for this and yells at her, triggering an argument that ends with Ted